Hello there, my name's Brandon and I make pictures out of tiny squares. And last week I saw this art prompt from the Pixel Dailies Twitter account to make a portrait in the style of Mega Man Battle Network, which is an RPG series for the Game Boy Advance that has really top-notch pixel art, and as we can see here, quite a polished look for the character portraits as well. I particularly like the ones that have that sort of three-quarter perspective to them, so I'm going to attempt something along those lines. I've created a work area of 40 by 48 pixels here, and that's actually sectioned off in white within a larger overall canvas. And that was just in case I wanted to draw outside those bounds and then kind of shift things into frame. The first thing I'm doing is dropping in a large circle to use for the main volume of the head. I've erased the inside to leave just an outline, and then I continue to erase from that outline itself because sometimes by removing pixels like this, you can give the impression of a more gradual or natural curve. I mean, I also think it just kind of looks cool to have like a dash line like this for the construction phase, so that's part of it too. Next, I make a curved line inside the circle, and this represents the midline of the face. The fact that it's oriented in that particular way tells us that this character is looking off in that three-quarter view. Similarly, I add in a horizontal line which is going to help me place the eyes eventually. Now, that vertical midline gets extended downward, and the bottom point here is going to be the chin. I didn't take it too far below the original circle because this is going to be a stylized anime head, so the proportions here are a little bit off from realistic. Working that point up and around the circle roughs out the jawline, and then the upper connection point becomes the ear. The spot where the bottom of the original circle was intersecting looked about right for the mouth, so I just kind of moved a few pixels around and got a smirk going there. When it came to the eyes, I saw in the reference portrait that there's a range of sizes and styles going on here. But the most common seem to be those large anime style ones. So I used the remaining real estate on the face to find room for those. I hadn't quite considered how much space these were going to end up requiring to get just right, so it may have been better to start from a larger head in this case, but I was trying to save room on the canvas to accommodate the hairstyle. This is going to be a portrait for my character Nell, who first appeared back in the isometric RPG battle video. And at least in that small sprite, her hair is one of the more recognizable traits, so I definitely wanted to leave just enough room around the head to accommodate that in the portrait as well. In placing the hair, I find it's always best to start from the bald character head and then draw the silhouette of the hair beyond that point. The distance of the hair from the head obviously varies according to the hairstyle, but once that's in place and then the original headline is erased, the resulting silhouette has an appropriate amount of extra volume beyond the head. I've been working with the portrait as Linework for now in order to solidify the core construction, and eventually this is going to be worked up into a softer appearance like the reference designs. In a lot of these you can see that there's sort of a colored linework along the clothing and edges of the face, sometimes bordering the hair also. So that was sort of my direction in getting the lines in place first, and then the idea will be to color and blend those lines in with the main fill colors. To keep things stylistically consistent with these originals, I decided to sample the main set of colors from across those reference portraits. I really like the ones that have this green background, and I think that works perfectly as the accent color for Nell since that's the accent color of her staff. Then for the remaining ones, I'm generally sticking with tones of a moderate saturation, and I'm painting all these on new layers that are sitting underneath the linework layer just so I can blob them all in as fill colors without affecting the linework. With the base colors in place, the next step is to apply some shading. And what I'm doing here for the skin is primarily using a single shade tone, but there is also another shade that's about halfway between those first two colors. And that one gets used sparingly to blend the two together. This sort of allows you to have finer control over the depth and the curvature, or if it's the appearance of certain features like with the line of the mouth here. It's kind of a nice touch in providing a softer overall appearance. Basically, rather than always having a hard interface between the base and the shade tone, the in-between color is applied minimally to kind of ease that transition, and it looks really effective at a distance. This was one of those stylistic ideas that I kept in mind while detailing this one, and so anytime I need some kind of in-between color like this, an easy way to do it I find is just to create a new layer and set the opacity to 50%. Now when I paint over that with another color, the result sits exactly halfway between the two tones that made it up. I noticed that this also appears to be what they've done around the edges of a lot of these portraits, where we also kind of have this blending between the character and the background color. So again, I've created a 50% layer, and I'm dotting over the character using the green, which kind of softens that line work against the background. Similarly, I'm blending like this within the portrait as well for some finishing touches to the hair. treating the darkest shades like Linework and trying to soften their presence by breaking them up and stepping through some of the shade colors. The final step here is adding in that bright anime style sheen across the hair. And so with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the recap and then the finalized portrait. Here we go. Alright, so there we have it. I've never quite done a portrait like this before, but I had a lot of fun attempting a workflow that would recreate this style. And it was nice to explore a more detailed look at this character as well. So thanks again to Pixel Dailies for awesome prompt ideas like this. And because of the sizing, let's go ahead and close this out by taking a look at it up on the Pixel 64 LED frame. So thank you for watching, and take care and keep it square.